So normally at the start of our videos, we'll crack a little quip or perhaps throw in some kind of analogy to break the ice. Today, however, calls for a slightly more serious tone as we're discussing the reasons for Christian Horner's name being in the news. It comes at a time when things are about to change in a massive way within the sport, not only with the start of the season but the start of a brand new regulation cycle which will see massive internal reshuffles up and down the grid, which begs the questions: why now, why Horner, and how are we to move forward? Want to know why the situation with Christian Horner could lead to a massive change within F1? If you ask Christian, there is far more at play here than what has been seen in the headlines. And if either side of the story proves to be false, then there would be hell to pay. And stick around, because we'll finish off the video with something a bit lighter as a reward for sticking through with us on a serious topic, focusing on the future of a fan favourite Aussie. So just what has been levelled at Horner and what does it mean for his current standing in the team? Well, yesterday on the 5th of February, the world woke up to the Dutch newspaper De Telegraaf's report that Christian Horner had been accused of inappropriate behaviour by a Red Bull employee. Now, we want to stress that at this time, these are just accusations, and while they should be taken very seriously, they are in no way charges, and at this time, Christian Horner must be considered innocent until proven guilty. The court of social media is obviously running rife right now. However, extreme opinions on either side of the line are rendered toothless until evidence, confirmation, or corroboration comes out to state otherwise. It's best to respect the process that De Telegraaf has reported is currently underway at Red Bull, and despite us all knowing how some vile corners of the internet will take pleasure in doing so, we must not dogpile onto either the alleged or the alleger with vile comments on the internet until more information is known. Furthermore, the nature of this behavior is yet unknown, as inappropriate has quite a wide meaning and is currently being reported as being of a controlling nature. As we said, a process is underway, so the truth will come out, as the publication reported on Red Bull's statement. After being made aware of certain recent allegations, the company launched an independent investigation. This process, which is already underway, is being carried out by an external specialist barrister. The company takes these matters extremely seriously, and the investigation will be completed as soon as practically possible. It would not be appropriate to comment further at this time. The F1 world seems to be in the habit of throwing out absolute curveballs at the moment, and this was certainly not the news that we expected to come out on a Monday morning. So obviously Horner has been allowed to have his say, and in doing so, he quoted, accidentally or not, General Anthony McAuliffe in his response to the Daily Mail, saying one simple word: nuts. The report was supposedly a real shock to the staff at Red Bull, with many being entirely unaware of the situation due to it being taken outside the team, supposedly due to the intimidation of Horner being at the very top, causing fear that the issue would just be dismissed or not taken seriously. For the time being, Horner is just pushing on with work as usual, which is to be expected given that, as we said before, for the time being these are just accusations. Given that there is an upcoming season to prepare for, as well as the day-to-day checklist of a team principal that measures in a matter of feet rather than inches, even on the quietest day, then it's clear that until he is unable to, Horner will not for a second put a moment of work to the side that could potentially jeopardize the team moving forwards. There is still work to be done, and Red Bull is not exactly known for acting quickly when it comes to their higher-ups having concrete evidence of wrongdoing against them, never mind accusations that were put outside the team rather than dealt with internally. Just look at all the times in recent years where helmut Marko has been found on record saying the most egregious comments possible, sometimes even against his own drivers, and yet Red Bull acted with all the urgency of a glacier. The team tends to back their own camp against the odds at all times, however this time may well be different due to suspicions of foul play coming from the place that you'd least expect. That's right, there are murmurings that the timing of this coming out is all too convenient, vague enough to not cause a complete storm, however serious enough to bring up some very uncomfortable questions. If you cast your mind back a few years, there was a trio at the top of Red Bull that created a fine balance that caused the team to work efficiently within the top ranks: Helmut, Christian and Dietrich. Ever since the death of Dietrich Mateschitz, the team has seen more and more unrest at the top, with infighting and finger-pointing between the controlling influence in Salzburg and the old guard of Horner and Marko, but also infighting within that duo due to the peacekeeper of Mateschitz no longer being around. The Daily Mail reports, Horner's defenders say the accusations are smears aimed at unseating him from power in an attempt to wrest control to Salzburg. Again, we want to stress that this is just speculation. However, it is certainly worth exploring as the world of F1 is approaching a real turning point. So let's humor this to the fullest extent and don the tinfoil hats for a moment. Let's say that Salzburg does in fact want to stir the pot to push Horner out of the picture in time for the upcoming regulation change. They'd have to leave enough time to restructure and have a new head of the team in place in time for the new regulation change. And given Horner has been at the wheel since 2005, this is a mammoth challenge for any suitor to undertake. 18 months will be the bare minimum for this to be undertaken. And speaking of a long time frame, character assassinations can be a death by 1,000 cuts rather than a single blunt force revelation. If we see a fast announcement of indictment and guilt on behalf of Horner, then this would, as mentioned before, be incredibly unlike Red Bull given their track record of late. There is a well-known rift at the top of Red Bull between the Formula 1 team and the energy drinks manufacturing side, which perhaps points to one of two things. Either the accusation has been conveniently planted to unseat Horner, or something that could be more likely, the murmurings did actually exist and they have just been intentionally amplified by Salzburg in order to sow doubt and unrest about Horner's position within the team. Okay, tinfoil hats off. The reality of the situation is yet to be revealed, and this is all based off of the current information that is currently available, as well as looking at the team in recent years, so we will just have to wait for more to come out. In the meantime, both the F1 world and no doubt social media warriors waiting for the chance to say "I knew he was rotten" will be watching this space very closely. Right. Well, thank you for sticking through with that if you did, and now as a bit of a reward, time for a bit of levity to have a bit of fun with a contract that is running out this year. Picture this, all of the top talent has been pinned down. Norris and Piastri at McLaren, Hamilton and Leclerc at Ferrari. Albon wants to stay with his project at Williams long term, and most importantly, there is no room at the inn at Red Bull. Mercedes is desperate, and they're either forced to promote juniors far too early or even worse, get lumped with Ocon. I just shudder at the thought. So Mercedes, now desperate for an experienced pair of hands that will be a number 2 to their golden boy George Russell, look to the aging element within the sport. Vettel is not coming back, regardless of how much his fans can't stop putting his name in every single conversation possible, despite hating him back in the early 2010s, and Alonso has a comfortable paycheck and enjoys being the dominant number 1 driver within the team. So a safe pair of race-winning hands who will be happy to be in competitive machinery and would relish the chance of playing a part in winning a championship. Someone with a track record of turning his back on supposed long-term prospects. That's right, the tinfoil hat is back on. Danny Rick to Mercedes, baby. That's right, we said it. It makes as much sense as most of the other crackpot theories that the world currently has, if not more. His part-time contract with Red Bull's sister team is up at the end of 2024, and as much as Helmut wants to say that the contract ties Daniel to Red Bull and it won't be broken, if Daniel smells any chance to race at the front end of the grid rather than in Red Bull's sloppy seconds-mobile, then I think he will jump at that opportunity. Today's a day for tinfoil, and with Andretti being denied, Hamilton leaving for Ferrari, and the news today about Horner, I'd say just about anything is possible.